Well, good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Summer is over with. Summer is over with. Sitting outside on the patio and taking this last opportunity to take advantage of this weather as we have it now. It's been a it's been an interesting year. Haven't been doing a lot of promoting of motorcycle related activities this year. Kind of on the sidelines. I've stepped aside, but not out. Not out of the game, not out of the industry, not out of the business. But definitely took a pause. Not to say taking a pause to the extent that not working, definitely working, doing more planning, building more structure, and getting more support. Since 2008, that was my third year of riding a motorcycle. I started in 2005, but established World of Soul motorcycle community in 2008. So we're on 17 years. 17 years of promoting social and cultural reconciliation. 17 years of showcasing the possibilities in the motorcycle community. 17 years of Ride for Change, Ride for Hope, retelling America's story about historical places, people, and events, and just highlighting the fact that despite our challenges, we've always found ways to move the nation forward. And with that, we've turned our attention to young people and their pursuit of a post-secondary education, helping kids get to and through college. Yeah, it's been a real blast. It's been a real blast, especially when kids grow older and they're not college graduates and have families of their own, and they look back and say, hey, I was able to do this because of some support that we got from the motorcycle community. Yeah. So this year has been really interesting. It wasn't meant to be that way. I had a lot of big plans for this year. One of our major corporate supporters has stepped up and just really knocked the ball out of the park with next level support. And we were supposed to do some big things this year. But unfortunately, my mom passed away. And when my mom passed away in California, I had to stop everything. Prior to that, my mom had gotten sick, and once again, I had to stop everything and go to California and see about my mom. My mom was also a subscriber to World of Soul Motorcycle Community, our social network. So she got a chance to see everything that we were doing on the social network and the direction in which I was pointing the community in and the spirit behind what we were doing. The last time I saw my mom, before I got to California, she said, bring me one of those World of Soul motorcycle community shirts. Bring me one of those red shirts. And I'm shaking my head. I'm like, what do you know about a World of Soul motorcycle community shirt? And that's when it dawned on me. I forgot that, yeah, she was on the platform. And when I arrived in California, to the hospital, walking to her room, I could hear her talking. I could hear her speaking proudly about how she had marched with Dr. King and others. I had previously, years prior to that, back in 2011, partnered with the King family in Atlanta, where we had had an event and laid a wreath on Dr. King's place of rest. And him and mom was bragging about how she marched with Dr. King to the nurses. And as I walked into the room, I got a chance to see my mother. She was proud of her son. I gave her her shirt and she put it on right there in her bed. And I took a photograph of her in her shirt. She was proud of what we had accomplished and the direction we were going in. So I stayed for a little over a week, came back and participated in some activities with our corporate sponsor, and was really gearing up for our next phase of operations with them and positioning that blessing to be cast upon our membership and the communities in which we serve. And found out my mother had passed away. So I had to go back to California and settle my mom's estate. I was there for over a month. But while I was there, I networked with a lot of the folks in the town, the school district, a couple other towns over. And it was really important to me that I left behind something that spoke to my mother's legacy there, her time there. So I partnered with the school district and the superintendent of the school district and the principal of the high school in the town. It established a scholarship in my mom's name, the Helen Hardy Memorial Scholarship Fund. Yeah, that was a highlight. But I got the chance to stay in my mom's house for a month. I really hated to leave because her spirit was there. It was the only thing that was left behind that really reminded me of my mom. As I went through her things and cleared out the house, her whole story was there as well as mine. On the night in which I left California, it was the evening of the academic banquet at the high school. And it was at that time I was able to award the first scholarship to a young man that I was introduced to by the principal. And I gave a speech that I didn't prepare, but I spoke for at least a good 15 minutes. I talked about, the narrative of African Americans and the Great Migration from the South to the North of African Americans seeking better opportunities. And that's how they got to Chicago, where I am here. And it was in that same spirit that my mom left Chicago and went to California. But I talked about that narrative of slavery and how, when slavery ended, the gates swung open on the plantations and African Americans walked out, or enslaved Africans, newly freed slaves, walked out of the plantation into mainstream society without any education, because at one time it was illegal to teach enslaved Africans how to read and write. So imagine that all of these folks with no education are cast upon society, cast into society. Historically black colleges and universities, which started as trade schools and just basic training schools, have had the role of elevating the black mindset since post-Civil War, just to, get us educated. And so I was helping the audience to understand and appreciate that that work still continues today. And that's why black people are pretty much, behind the eight ball when it comes to education, because it's 400 years of slavery. And it's just been a challenge. So the fight today is to help more young people get to and through college and or the career of their choice. And so that's where my passion has been. It didn't necessarily start there. It actually started with Reverend Jackson over at Rainbow Push, who ran for president back in the 80s. And I actually went to school across the street from his national headquarters. He was a mentor. So the work has been to encourage the motorcycle community to surface on the issue of education. And we continue to push that envelope. So I've practically taken off this year trying to have motorcycle events and fundraisers, things of that nature, to build infrastructure. I'm happy to report we've got a staff of 7, and should by the end of next week have a staff of about 10 to help with our administration. So I'm sitting out here tonight, just I was enjoying my little cigar here until it went out on me. I'm gonna light it up. I may have to drop this phone in a second. But I was just thinking all the things that I've been working on this year, absent what I'm normally doing, for the sole purpose of resurfacing stronger, with more resources and more impact, more than ever before. We've come a long way, and we've got a long way to go. So I'm hoping that with the support of our corporate partners, various foundations, and some of the governmental agencies that have been supporting us, we're able to take things to the next level. We may have started in the African American community, but we're actually a diverse organization that includes all people, all nationalities. But there's just something about the people that surface and support us when it comes to education The majority of those people are not black. They're white. And there are other races as well. But they understand the importance of the work that I do. And they understand the value of a diverse community that includes everyone that's in the community and activities that are beneficial for the community as a whole. And they understand the value of equity, building equity. So when you hear that DEI, those three letters, and what that means, it's uh, it's a strong proposition when it's put in its proper perspective. So I'm glad to still be here. I'm a little older now. See a little gray hair. Decided to grow some hair. I usually am a clean-shaven individual, but it's getting cold here in Chicago, so I'm thinking this year I might grow my beard out. So I've got 2.5, maybe 3 weeks worth of growth so far. Yeah, we're at that stage where we gotta enjoy life and take it easy a little bit and allow others to come forward and be a part of the solution side of things. Yeah, so I'm happy about that. But as the year comes to a close, I've got to prepare for next year. And that's where the challenge really, really comes in at, because uh, the motorcycle season may be winding down, but the planning and the organizing, it really ramps up around this time in order to bring all the things together for the next year. So World of Soul, that's our trademark. And when you think of those three words, World of Soul, what comes to mind? That's a question I ask a lot of folks, and I tend to get a lot of different answers. Some people say music, some people think of black people, some people think of spiritual, the spirit within people, the environment. That latter part, that's the one I really focus on, the environment and the spirit, because when it comes down to it, we're all, flesh and bones driven by a spirit. Flesh and bones driven by a spirit. And the Bible says that we're made in God's image. And if we're made in God's image, that means everything that we need, we already have. We just have to find ways to bring it out. And so I'm going to close with that we already have what we need. So I want to make application of these things and continue to move forward. It does get somewhat discouraging at times, but when you really reflect on it, if God has put something like this on me, I'm in a blessed situation. I'm in a great situation to do some great things. And I don't have to feel bad about it, because it comes with good motivation, great opportunities, and it's impactful when it's implemented and it's received. It takes us to a different place. And that's where we want to go. And that's a world of soul. So if you're listening to this YouTube live, thank you for doing so. If you have some comments or suggestions, feel free to put them in the comment section and I'll reply. But for the most part, I just want to thank you for chiming in. Thank you for joining me this evening. I want to wish everyone a great evening. Stay blessed. Good night. Now, I know how to start this thing. How do you stop it? Interesting. There you go. Good night.